bullshit you've got going on, or whatever sort of weird sexual murderous energy you're giving off. And so it was always very exciting. Though I've gotten in the most trouble in my life in hotels, and I worry that if I worked back there, I'd live
talented.
I'd live an unhinged, debaucherous life, and it would not be good.
That would be... I would like to see that, Amy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I was like, ooh, you outed yourself as not being from Rosewood then, because that's all I did when we were there. What's up?
Bummer.
Drunk and sleeping with everyone.
I wanted to say, is that what it was going to be? I thought you might turn into like a kingpin where people have to kiss your rings. That's the Amy I was hoping would happen if you started working at hotels again.
Oh, now probably.
Right? That's what I was.
Because I'm a bit more high status in my life.
Exactly.
You know? But when I worked there originally, I was in my 20s, so I was all like, I'm like in my 20s, so like I'm really like hot and cool, even though I'm 100% just was exactly the same right now.
Right.
But
hot and cool. Yeah, I know.
Oh. And that was one other thing you mentioned. You said something about writing while you did it. It's like, that's the reason why I moved to a small town. I just want to be that weird writer who, whichever writer you want to say.
Oh, J.D. Salinger. That's what I was about to say to you before everyone was like, what do you think? Yeah.
Person alone and just write some crazy novel that
like
serial
Stephen
killers.
King.
Stereo.
Yeah, like Stephen King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not
he's
named.
not like that weird, but I mean, he's a little weird. He's weird.
Sure. I mean,
exactly.
But he writes
shit
fucking
happened
intense.
To him. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you can just see the cocaine era, and you can see like getting in that car accident and just being.
Sometimes I'm like, maybe I do need to do a little cocaine.
Still got life to do it, man.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I don't know.
The hotel world
to
is
a
waiting
certain
for you.
point. Yeah, but like, I'm gonna start a cocaine habit when I'm 40 plus. No.
When's a better time?
That's so lame.
Honestly, think about it.
That's
Most
so
people
lame.
start a cocaine habit at their like youngest and least like.
That's what I'm saying.
Ready for it.
Critical thinking. Like critical thinking just isn't a part of it. Like the idea that anybody would start doing drugs when they're complete, like they have all this life experience to understand like the ramifications of it and stuff. I think.
No, I'm never gonna. No, I won't ever do. No, I'm not. That's not.
Do this cocaine, Amy. It's on the table already.
Oh no, God.
Delia, what are you gonna do if comedy doesn't work out?
Photography.
She said photography.
Tell me again. Did we already go in the circle?
Try again. Yeah,
we did already
go.
go in the circle. I don't like.
I wanted to do it more.
Yeah.
We should bring more people in.
It
here.
would be. It would. I think it would definitely be photography and writing. I don't know what I would do. I think it would just be a bunch of bullshit for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Would any of us end up married? I know I wouldn't. I don't think.
I don't think.
Yeah. You're too late.
I expect to stay married. I expect him to die young, and then I expect to have a series of lovers.
Yes. Good shit.
Yeah, I'm thinking like I would love to just, especially because I work at Roots Chris, and I'd love to just I would totally marry an old lady with like one foot in the grave, absolutely, and I would totally be her cabin boy for a little while. I think that seems to be what options I have left.
I'm gonna be honest. Jorts are really gonna be liked by this crowd.
No.
Yeah, they aren't used to seeing legs, especially young ones.
Though BT Dubs feel bad for your current girlfriend.
Oh yeah, no. See, that's the thing.
She's like, listen, you're sweet, but if only you were 40 years older.
Yeah, no. It's like, hey, that talks a long way away, and it's also like, hey, you could just hang back and let me just do the work for like 2 years.
Do the work.
I'll bring the money home. I'll bring the pearl necklaces and whatever Hope diamonds I can get my whatever. Titanic.
I love the idea of you coming back
jewelry.
and I was like, I got the pearl necklace. Oh no, this is just cum. And then she's like, I got the wrong one. And he floats away on a helicopter. Is what I want Wendell to
Oh no, it's
scenario.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, hey Kyle, what was your first kiss?
Yeah. Tell me.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell him.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I was at the time I was 18, I believe. I was 18. My first real kiss. And I was drunk. And we just started making out. We started making out outside, and then we started making out on the grass outside of my dad's house. And that was my first kiss. Because it went very much escalated.
Wait,
Wow.
you were having a party at your dad's house?
It was just 4 of us. It was basically a setup.
Okay. I see.
But whatever. Worked out.
Wow.
Got a kiss.
You did.
What was her name?
Ooh, that's a good question. Ooh, I forget what her name is. I think it's Jessica.
I wrote
It's not
mine
Jessica.
down to make sure that I wouldn't forget.
Yeah, I always forget. I don't
I knew I would.
Just like
Now, do you?
it was one night and it never happened ever again.
Okay.
I don't even think we're Facebook friends.
So, like for first kiss, is that like your first makeout session, or is that like literally the first time
First
you ever kissed
kiss.
a girl? Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because my
was-
first kiss was like middle school.
Right,
It was just,
yeah,
like, a little
exactly.
peck kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
just cute little. We weren't like straight.
No, this is part of the reason why it makes so much sense that I want to like live alone. Is I've just like been a loner for a while. So
Yeah.
even as a kid, I was that, and whether I liked it or not, I just became that. I don't know what it was. So part of the thing is like my infatuation with just living without other people is fine.
Yeah, I get that.
So that's why it took me so long to do any of the stuff.
totally.
It's funny because you work so well with people.
When did you start doing any of this stuff?
Yeah, you do.
It was pretty much then.
When is that? Because I don't.
18. Like, what do you mean doing this stuff?
When did you start doing like comedy or
Oh,
anything?
comedy?
Or like being at the theater?
That's,
Oh, right, yeah.
That was 2.5 years ago.
Was that the
Okay.
first time you ever did anything ever?
Yeah. Well, no, I did stand up a couple times in Lawrence, Kansas, but it just wasn't right. Or
Stand-up?
whatever.
No.
Yeah.
Or
The problem was
the
I had to do it
city?
the city, but also I had to drive all the way. It wasn't in Lawrence. I had to drive all the way to Kansas City to do it, and it was at like a Cap City type place where it's just like kind of you and like a couple people who have done it for the first time and their friends, and that's it. But at like a theater, which isn't good. Like a bar open mics are nice, but what this was not nice. It was like, oh, this isn't any of the fun stuff I like. So it never worked out. Also to drive 30 minutes, and I didn't have the money to do that once a week even. So
Yeah.
because I was in college, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. You and I kind
wow.
of started around like the same time. I remember us like rehearsing for a neighborhood sketch on that
Yeah,
couch
we
out
did
there.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the last
we
time
were
I was
reading
here.
through. I remember we had we had a neighborhood meeting one time, like way before we did the podcast. Like we all kind of met up here and we did like me and Kyle.
We
sat
were
on
in the same
couch where you guys
scene.
ran
Oh,
us.
yeah.
I forget what that scene was.
Yeah, that was like the first time I ever saw this place.
I think we might have had to make. This was actually.
Dr. Drew.
It was
It was
Dr. Drew. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That was my sketch.
yeah. It was? I didn't know
think
that
so,
until just
yeah.
now. I did not know that I was doing. That's funny.
Yeah.
I never knew who the writer
You don't
was
think
really,
about
unless
it,
they
yeah.
wrote the name up in the top, which wasn't like super. Like,
Yeah, back
common.
in the day, it wasn't so much about like who wrote it. It was really more about the presentation of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit about who wrote it if you have like notes about it and you're performing with the guy who wrote it. Or like something, you know, like what if I hated it and I just started talking like mad shit about it? Like,
I'm not
God,
even-
what the fuck is this?
I'm not even 100% sure I wrote it, but I feel like I did at the time.
Well, it was
I feel
like,
like at
super
one point I
conversational,
said,
like,
yeah,
so
might
that
be
seems
what it
like
was.
something you would write.
Yeah, that is maybe mine.
Like,
I don't remember what that sketch is though.
your conversational stuff.
I don't know. I
is
can
really
look
good.
it up. I have all the. I have every script of every neighborhood in files.
nuts.
I do too in a Samsonite briefcase that I got at Goodwill for $2
on paper?
yeah. I have every printed.
Oh my God.
Like every printed sketch you've ever handed me to do the neighborhood or any other thing is I have saved.
Oh my
That's
God,
crazy.
Back in like dirty papers.
That right there is
There's
heaven. I've just
no,
been
that's
given
that's your
heaven.
crazy guy. He's coming for you.
Hey,
You have a
He's
stalker.
got every
Yeah,
single
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
No.
he's coming.
I mean, you know, if I didn't think to a certain extent that I am sort of like L. Ron Hubbarding every person that walks through T&M and convincing them in a Pied Piper way to follow me down the Yellow Brick Road, you're wrong.
I know.
And the idea that you have it all right there is like, haha, finally. But at the same time, like, I don't know. I think it's a good time.
Well, like, it's
at this
also
point,
just
I've
a bunch
built
of
enough of people around me that do their own things that like it's a vibrant community, and no matter what project I want to do, I can be like, okay, I know the right person for that,
Yeah.
and there's
Oh.
a bunch of people you can ask, which is great.
Yeah, well, it's weird just because it's like a whole bunch of things, but every time I look at one of the sketches, like I almost immediately remember every line that I had in that sketch or something. Like I'm like, oh yeah, no, and I just like try and go through it. It's weird how like I lock that shit in the back. Like all the way in the back.
Yeah.
All the
There's
way.
one.
I don't think I have it all the way.
There's
in the
one
back.
sketch in particular that we did, and it's partially because I got to rap it. Was a disposable income sketch where I'm playing with this thing over here, and I wrote my own rap section of it, and it's not what Donnie wanted at the time, Donnie Rodriguez, if he's listening, because I don't think he wanted me to go for like 8 bars, but I went for 8 bars, and I memorized it. And the first night I did that show, I fucked up the lines and then improvised the end of it, and no one noticed it, which was cool. But I fucked it up horribly. And then the next time I did it, I didn't even listen to it at all. And I just walked right in on stage and I nailed it to a T. And it was so weird that I was worse when I learned it first than I was the second time, where I just didn't even remember it. I shouldn't have remembered it. Yeah, I knew it better.
And that's why the second
annoying.
show is amazing, Red. That's why the second show is amazing. Sorry. Red and I are always having an argument about why the neighborhood needs 2 shows a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, because the second show, you've learned something, you've spent a week thinking about what you've learned, and then you bring it into the performance, and the performance is always better. And he's like, no, it's worse because it's not as exciting as that one. And I was like, no. It's always better.
Yeah.
Everybody just is more on board with the joke. They know what they're supposed to do. They know where the laughs came. Like, it's just 1,000 times better. So, haha.
I agree with you, but also for different reasons. So we ran the season finale, which is a show we wrote a while ago. But we've run it 3 different times. It's got a weird twist in it where it makes the audience kind of either laugh or like get weirded out, and I've seen different audiences view it, and each one has been different, not necessarily better or worse, just different the way they reacted to it. And I think you can never plan for what an audience is going to do. Like our show, Delia was in it on Saturday, was weird because that show seemed like it was going to be so much fun, and the audience was not on board with our weird Zach Galifianakis type of stuff we were trying to do.
Yeah, just like super quick.
Right out the door.
Well, never mind.
Go ahead.
I feel weird saying it on mic, but I wonder how different it would have been if, like, being like the side band, if we had like any reactions and like laughed, if the audience would have been more on board laughing.
Mm-hmm.
And so like midway through, I was thinking like maybe I'll just break and just kind of get people to warming up to that. But I was like, it's too far in. Like can't do it now. But like the majority of the time, I kept thinking like I laugh at everything all the time, or I'm just a really smiley person, because I wanted to laugh so much during that show, and it really bummed me out that like maybe less, like a handful of audience members got it,
and
but
they
the
were
majority,
all our friends too.
But the majority was just like, what? I think he's gonna do this. It was so weird.
I didn't understand that audience at all, because what was the weird thing about it was that it wasn't an inside T&M joke at all. We were literally we almost essentially were trying to do what a Zach Galifianakis talk show would be, just like trying to do the most awkward thing. But the second I knew it was going to suck was when we walked out, and the whole bit at the beginning of it is we were going to walk out, and we build it up like this like Johnny Carson show, and we have a big old piece of paper tied up and taped to the wall that says Loyal Comedy on it, and we're going to run through it in our suits. And the first fucking bit of this show is us just running through this sheet, breaking the sheet, and then us tripping on each other, and then slowly crawling across the stage. And the audience did not like any of it. And it was built up so well, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, not even a reaction of like, or yeah, or anything. Because I hit it hard. I hit the ground hard on purpose because I knew that would be like part of it. And they were just like, no one reacted. They like didn't have any sort of emotional ties to themselves. Maybe we just got Twitter bots. And still, I don't understand what it was.
It was like fucking zombies. It was nuts. Not even.
It's a Saturday at 9 too.
It was just like watching people fall and just.
Okay, I've seen this before. It's like, no, you haven't seen this stupid shit.
Oh my! It was fucking nothing.
It was such a fucking.
I mean,
It's funny, you just never know.
You just get, yeah.
I don't know.
You just never know. I think, too, a lot of people are just so used to watching TV that they just don't react. Like, there's a certain level of, like, I don't know, social courtesy to laugh when someone's trying to make you.
Yeah, so I think what it was, one, when you have the ACs on, everybody's too cold to have a good time. You kind of have to sweat at a comedy show. Because think about the best comedy shows you've been at. It's never the one where you've been cold. It's never been the case. They do it at fucking Cap City all the time. They have too much AC in there. I'm like, what are you doing? This is not as much fun. That's why you, whatever. When it's a hot crowd, it's literally a hot crowd a lot of times.